Hey guys, today it's all about Made in Heaven Season 2. This Tiger Babies production was a long time coming, but it's finally here and I have so much to say. But before that, I have a question to ask you. Are marriages really made in heaven? Do we have no control over who we decide to spend the rest of our lives with? And what about those of us who don't want to spend our lives with somebody? Starring Sobhita Dhulipala, Arjun Mathur, Jim Sarbh, and Kalki in the principal cast, we have a stellar supporting cast. Shashank Arora, Trinetra Haldar, Mona Singh, Shivani Raghuvanshi, and Vijay Raz. The combination of all these actors and the special appearances made by a variety of other actors make this season a must-watch. Made in Heaven is a great juxtaposition of love, friendship, family, community, stereotypes, prejudices, and basically all the shit we have to deal with in life. Just like season 1, this season has beautiful locales, beautiful costuming. The background score is fantastic. It's joyful, it's sorrowful, it's peppy, it's romantic. It's basically everything you expect from this series and much more. And not only that, just like season 1, this season has beautiful weddings. And these weddings provide an intersection of different cultures, different religions, and different partnerships. We have heterosexual couples. We also have a lesbian couple. Where we have a Hindu wedding, we also have a Muslim and a Christian wedding. We have a wedding that tries to bring different casts together, and we also have a wedding that's between individuals with a huge age gap between them. Basically, if you're looking for diversity or you are wedding planning yourself and you need some ideas on how to go about your big day, watch this series. But you better make sure you have a budget because these weddings are not cheap, honey. What I love about this series is that it's a little bit of crazy rich Asians. They have this lifestyle we can only dream of living. From the designer bags to the designer clothes to the mansions to the cars, it is all beautiful and slightly unattainable. But hey, who doesn't want to see the ultra rich and famous have struggles in their lives? I also just want to reiterate how good this ensemble cast is. None of them are playing single dimensional characters, so everyone delivers a nuanced performance. It's really good to see Mona Singh in a character that is multidimensional. She has not been utilized enough, in my opinion. I think she does a fantastic job here. She fits her role. She is the mama bear figure. She's fun, she has that dilly spice in her, and she is adept at delivering a nuanced take on a mother who is parenting a child, a teenager who is going through some kind of a rebellious streak. Shobita and Arun are the backbone of this series. Without them, this series wouldn't be possible. They both are so good at delivering a wide array of emotions, and they just make really good partners. Shobita is beautiful, but she's so much more than just a beautiful face and amazing figure. She is so good in the emotional scenes. Her eyes speak volumes. And I have to hand it to Arjun. I think he portrays Karan with ease. It seems like he is this character. It's really difficult to play a gay man on screen without coming across like you're making a joke out of it, like you're becoming a stereotype. I think he's confident. He handles his character with grace and dignity, and that is beautiful to see. Trinetra is so confident in her character. It seems so authentic to her because I feel somewhere she may have gone through the same struggles that her character goes through. She shines on screen and she's just a wonderful part in the show. While Jim, Sarbh, and Kalki have smaller roles than Shobita and Arjun, I think they are also very much needed in this show because without them, who would be Adil and who would be Faiza? I think they're brilliant performers, and that shows in the fact that we actually care about Adil's journey and Faiza's journey. Vijay Raz onto himself is a great actor, and here I think he plays his character as Mr. Jori really well, and I love to see him taking a backseat. He doesn't have so much dialogue, it isn't overwhelming, but the little he does, it is just so good. In the show, he is being a supportive husband, and on screen, it looks like he's being a supportive co-actor. What more do you want? I think all the special appearances were really, really good. They were well cast and well acted. And then Vikrant Massey, I think his take on Nawab is so sweet, it's so charming, it's so mature. I wish there was more of Nawab in this show. I think that is a character that needs to be explored a little more. I understand he's not a principal character, so we can't really follow his journey. I am just thankful that we got to see the scenes between Arjun and him. Lastly, I want to mention Neil Bhupalan. I've always appreciated him. I think he's a really grounded actor. I loved his scenes with Trinetra. And if there's a third season, I want to see more of this relationship and where it goes. The story of season 2 picks up where season 1 left off. Adil and Tara are separated. Tara and Karan continue to build their company, Made in Heaven. And Adil and Faiza are keeping the relationship going. It's not all easy for Tara and Karan. They don't have the money coming in from the Khannas anymore, but they do have Mr. Jory. And now in this season, they have Mr. Jory's wife, Bulbul, and her storyline is fantastic. Actually, I won't be kidding if I say Mona Singh's storyline is my favorite of the entire cast. The way she handles misogyny that's happening around her life is fantastic. Every interaction she has with her son is brilliant because he is displaying classic misogynistic vibes. As a mother, she could have easily turned a blind eye to it, but she doesn't. She makes her son confront the biases and the sexism he exhibits. Her son thinks it's okay when a girl has things coming. Because if a girl is willing to have multiple sexual relationships, then who's going to respect that girl and want to make her a girlfriend? But Bulbul is having none of that. I love how she says that why do boys always want to dictate how girls behave? And if a girl who has multiple relationships is called a slut, what about the boys that go around having sex with every other girl they see? What are they called? There's a bit of suspense surrounding Bulbul and Jory's relationship, especially when she says that she's afraid that her son is going to be just like the father. And you automatically think that, damn, this Jory has a lot of stuff going around in the back, especially with this scene that Mona Singh delivers in which she shows off her back and there is a burn there. It's only later on that we find out the truth, and when that truth is revealed, it is beautiful to see the 180 the son makes in terms of his thought process and how he interacts with his mother and even how he looks at Jory now. Karan this season is in a downward spiral. He has a lot of emotional issues that are going on. He's still dealing with the fact that his mother does not accept him, nor talk to him, nor understand him. And that is also added to the fact that she is battling cancer. He gets into this drug and sex episode and it just spirals out of control. It gets to the point where he and Tara can't even talk to each other anymore. But it's beautiful to see the full circle that comes at the end of the season when these two are together and that's all they have. Basically, they're like a couple without actually being a couple. Tara has her own issues to sort. She has a relationship going on. Her mother is continually poking and prodding her to get more from the divorce. And we see her character develop into this money-minded individual. She's always been one, I guess, if you think about it. We saw what she had done in the first season to even get with Adil. But the fact that she thinks that she is entitled to take his family home, to even utter the lines, you reap what you sow, about her mother-in-law is a bit telling on how her character really is. And the interesting part here is that even though she finds herself in a relationship with this man who actually cares about her, who is down to earth, she can't help herself worry about the financial security. It's a tough world out there. You gotta take care of yourself. But it doesn't make Tara that likable. When she goes on that holiday with her boyfriend, she's talking about loving the hotel life. But as soon as she steps into the hotel, her face drops. She wants an upgrade. She wants a spa. She wants to live a life of luxury. And that life is only possible with the payout, with the home she thinks she's entitled to, with getting everything she can from Adil. And what is Adil thinking about all this? He's not having any of it. He wants her out of his life because for him, she is toxic. And he even says, this isn't California. She can't get half of everything. That sex scene that happens between Adil and Tara before they finally head their separate ways is indicative of how they are as individuals. They have always had a sexual tension between them. That's what their marriage was based on. And when that sexual nature of the relationship didn't result in a child, that is where things started falling apart. And when Tara realizes that Faiza is now giving him a child that she was never able to give him, the inner bitch comes out. And Faiza, who feels sad for what has happened. That art gallery scene where they finally come face to face is really beautifully done. They meet in the bathroom, they just stare at each other. Faiza has a sense of guilt and Tara has a sense of hurt. When Tara sees Adil and Faiza together, there's a lot of emotion happening there. And we all know Faiza has her own insecurities. The therapeutic relationship between her and her counselor is once again sown throughout the season. She talks about wanting that divorce to happen. She talks about wanting to have a significant place in Adil's life. She talks about the insecurity of not having a wife tag. She doesn't want to have this child out of wedlock. She talks about her parents not being there for her. She has a lot going on. Not only is this season about Adil trying to sort things out with his ex while trying to figure out where his relationship with Faiza is heading, he also has to sort out this new relationship that has thrust upon him, which is that of a sister. He's not willing to accept that sister. He doesn't know why that sister is here in the first place, and he's not ready to accept that sister's role in his life. And once again, it's nice to see Faiza's mature side. I like how she handles this relationship. I like how she kind of holds Adil's hand and forces him to confront all these issues in his life. And I also like that Faiza is taking a stand for herself. She's not a pushover. She's not a wallflower. She is in this situation with Adil. There are 50-50 culprits in it. And now she wants that stake for herself. She wants to ensure that her life is headed in the right direction. She doesn't want a repeat telecast of what has happened in his father's life. And when Adil says this isn't the 18th century, she straight up tells him, go tell that to my father who's not ready to talk to me. Because as this season reiterates, how society treats a woman and how a society treats a man is totally different. They're able to brush things under the carpet, whereas women have to fight every single day. And I'm not saying that the men don't fight here. They also have their struggles, like we see with Karan. But the fact of the matter is, if Tara was the one caught up in this sex and drugs and alcohol cycle, she would have experienced much more finger pointing and blaming than Karan's character ever did. I love how the story moves along. The screenplay is beautiful. I did not get bored this season. I also loved how not every episode was tied up in a neat bow. Life is messy. People are messy, and so are these episodes. Tiger Baby Productions is a fabulous production house. I love Reema Katki, I love Zoya Akhtar, and I love their team of directors here. They know how to depict relationships. They know how to show emotions. It's not easy to show sexual relationships on screen in India, even in this day and age. I love how aesthetic they are. I love how emotional they are, and I love how they serve a purpose. They aren't there just for the hell of it. They show Karan's struggle. They show Kabir and Jazz's complicated relationship. They show the crossroads Adil and Tara are in, ending what they had and moving on into the future. The strong point of season 1, which is also here in season 2, is that the series tackles a lot of different topics. And the characters in this series all are multidimensional and multifaceted. No one is a shallow replica of what a human is supposed to be like. They all have internal struggles. They all put outward facades. And they're all trying to make it in this dog-eat-dog world. No one here is completely white or completely black. Everyone is a different shade of gray. You just have to choose which shade of gray you find digestible or preferable. So I could sit here and go on and on about the various topics that are covered from episode 1 all the way to episode 7, but I'm going to spare you the time and just pick a few that I really liked. Episode 1 itself tackles two different things. One is a family that has lived in Britain but wants to come back to India and only comes back to India when they find a place that's suitable to their British standards. And along with the sophistication and poise and class that this family brings from Britain, they also bring their beauty standards. I'm talking about how people equate beauty with skin color. And the bride here is pressured to lighten her skin tone, not just with the society around her, but by her own mother, who says that the bride can't afford to look the darkest among her friends in photos. And her future mother-in-law even says that she has always liked Gori Chitti Kudiyan. Thankfully, the fiance is not from this school of thought, and he says that just because everyone in society and even celebrities are going into this trend of lightened skin color doesn't mean that they should perpetuate the same stereotypes. Because if we aren't comfortable in our own skin, there's no way in hell we'll be comfortable wherever we go in life. Like I said, the costuming in this show is off the charts. We have none other than Sabyasachi make an appearance in the show, guys. And who here doesn't want to be a Sabyasachi bride? Mrunal Thakur also makes an appearance in this season. She plays this successful actress who is getting married to a life coach. Everything is brilliant on the surface. He's caring, he's understanding, he is woke. But when you start looking at the surface, you see cracks. I love this track because it reiterates that it doesn't matter how much money or success or education a woman has. Sometimes when she's in a relationship, she doesn't know how to stand up for herself and she doesn't know how to put an end to the abuse. Why? Because women become entrapped. They think that they can change this behavior. They believe the man when he says he's sorry. They believe the man when he says that he will never raise his hand again. They believe in this future that they had envisioned. The fiance here looks well bred and well polished, but that doesn't mean that he's essentially a nice guy. He has no issue emotionally and physically abusing his fiance. The scene where he tells Mrunal Thakur to change her clothing, to wear more revealing clothing because she'll look hot and sexy, and doesn't care when she voices her discomfort, is telling. The best part of this episode was when Madhanya was playing in the background and Murnal was walking towards her fiance to marry him. The expression on her face, the expression on her father's face as he sees his daughter walk into this mistake is sad, but it's so much how reality is. As Kabir's voiceover says in this series, the beauty cannot tame the beast. A nice surprise for me this season was that Neelam and her husband Samir Soni made an appearance, and along with them, Sanjay Kapoor was also there. I liked their chemistry. You could definitely tell that they are a couple. I liked how they played off of each other. I even liked their track. That while they were willing to put their own love in the backseat for their children, when they saw that their children weren't in love with each other, they put that aside and found love for themselves. When we talk about failed relationships, we also talk about the movie industry. Here in episode 4, we had Pulkit Samrat come in playing this Bollywood actor getting married to a fellow actress. Like the stereotype goes about industry relationships, their relationship is on the surface. They love each other, they want a marriage, but they need everything to go smoothly and on script. The vows are even perfectly written out for them. The ceremonies are all rehearsed. And this project that they want to do together, they don't really want to do together. Pulkit goes behind his fiance's back and talks to none other than Anurag Kashyap about the film that they're making. He talks about real couples not making it big on screen and him wanting another actress to take his wife's part. When the wife hears of this, she wants none of it. She doesn't want this marriage either. It's only Tara that explains to her to take advantage of the situation. Get everything you can out of it. So what does this bride do? She becomes the producer. And as becoming the producer, not only will she make money, she'll make another name for herself. She has another title under the belt, and her husband will have to work for free under her. And while this episode was surface level, Radhika Apte's episode was magnificent. She played a Dalit character who was educated, successful, and confident. Her fiancé is not only accepting of her, but is willing to accept everything that comes along with her. That's society's baggage on how Dalits are treated, the segregation, the inequality, the discrimination. I love that line that Pallavi says, using her last name, which denotes her as a Dalit, is like coming out. And once you're out, you have to deal with the ridicule. And you have to deal with the society who put you in that closet in the first place. And when someone asks her why she advocates for reservation if she wants equality for all, I love her answer to it. The ones on the outside have a longer journey. And if equal opportunity is to be given, they need that head start. The beautiful Dia Mirza also makes her appearance in this season, and her track was so touching to me because her story also dealt with patriarchy. She is married to this guy who is now seeking a second wife, and that second wife is already living with them. And when Karan notices that Shanaz is upset, she is not okay with the situation, he tells her it only takes a few people to make a stand, meaning take ownership of your life and make decisions for yourself. Shanaz is able to tell her son that no one can take his place, but she's not able to say the same to herself. Her role, her place, it is diminished, and she takes things into her own hands when she tries to commit suicide. Thankfully, she's taken to the hospital and her life is saved. And with that comes a new start. She tells her husband, who, by the way, knew she was in a medical emergency but continued with the wedding. That tells you all you need to know about him. She tells him she will see him in court because even though he tells her he's not doing anything illegal and his mom tells her that this is how their traditions are, she is having none of it. She is going to help turn over the law that allows him to take advantage of women like her. She wants polygamy to be put to an end. And once again, we have Kabir's beautiful words ringing through here. He says, "You cannot build your happiness on the ashes of another's sadness." How can you expect to be happy when you have no issue walking over someone, when you have no issue crushing their happiness? And when it comes to happiness, it's not only heterosexual couples that deserve it. Same-sex couples do as well because love is love. And I love how this series doesn't shy away from that. Not only do they show Shivani's wedding here, which is a same-sex marriage, they also talk about transgender relationships. Shivani's character is unwilling to back down from having a marriage. She wants that union, even if it cost her her career. She also goes and talks to her fiance's mother. Be there for your daughter. You are the mother. She might have friends that support her, but a mother is a mother. And as far as transgender relationships go, I love Meher's track. I love the portrayal of her emotions, of seeking relationships from one person to the another, just to feel that connection, just to feel accepted, just for people to treat her as a woman. By the time the end of the season comes around, you feel hopeful that she too can find her happiness. And happiness, will Kabir and Jazz ever figure out what they're after here? Do they like each other? Do they not like each other? Will Kabir ever confront his feelings for her? That she's not just a random hookup, that he does want a relationship with her? And will Jazz ever learn her self-worth? That just because she doesn't come from high society, that there is nothing wrong with her? Because this is something Tara's mom has never been able to accept. She wants that biggest thing. She wants her daughter to have it all because she doesn't have it all, and she uses her daughter as a stepping stone to get it all. Unlike the first season, is a brilliant mix of characters, storylines, and issues. I love how they're handled. I love how they're upfront about the issues they're tackling and their characters' journeys. They all make mistakes. They all go through ups and downs, and they all learn from it in some ways, and in some ways, they don't learn at all. All of the characters are unabashedly human. They aren't perfect, and this show isn't trying to make them perfect. I am really looking forward to another season. I think there should be another season. I think there's a lot that these characters still have to give, and I think there's a lot their stories still have to tell. And if there is a third season, I cannot wait to see more of the weddings. They are big, they are grand, they are beautiful, and they are just what dreams are made of. But as the show says, sometimes heaven doesn't ordain a companion for us. And we see that in this season as well, with Sarah Jane Diaz and Imaduddin Shah's storyline. They are a couple that have a significant age gap between them, 10 years in fact. She's ready to have this baby and get married, whereas the guy, he's younger, he's 25 years old, he's still trying to find his footing in the music industry, he wants to go off to college, and while he's ready to put those dreams on hold for this marriage, for this baby, she does not want to deal with it. Why would she want to get married to a guy who isn't ready himself? She doesn't want to be the reason for his misery. She wants to remain his love. So she lets him go. And what a beautiful scene that is. He is shown on a motorcycle heading off into his future, and she is there putting on that wedding dress. She walks down the aisle and she says vows to herself for herself. She says that she's going to love, cherish, and honor herself. And that is so beautiful, because if you cannot do those things for yourself, you sure as hell can't do it for anyone else. So guys, I think I'm going to cut it off here because I can go on and on. This was a series I was looking forward to. I wanted season 2 to come so badly. And then it came, and it came with a bang, guys. It's really rare when a season 2 matches or surpasses season 1. And for me, this season does it. Let me know in the comment section down below if it does it for you as well. Like, share, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you next time with another review. Bye-bye.